Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a great day. Today's video is going to be about how to pay off your student loan. Now, let me put this for a little disclaimer. I am no expert on this. I'm just letting you guys know what I have learned throughout the years of paying this student loan that I'm still paying till this day, but I finally found a method that works. And if I would have kept this method that I found years back, it would have been paid off by now. So anyways, you guys, I really hope this video helps you out. If it does, make sure to throw a thumbs up down below and do not forget to subscribe if you are new here. Let's get straight on into it. So when it comes to your student loans, whether it is $50,000, $10,000, whatever amount, every student loan is treated equally and it's treated kind of the same. I feel like when it comes to student loans, they're the number one loan that is non-forgivable. So such as, for an example, if you have a credit card and you owe X amount on the credit card, but you have X amount in the bank and you want to pay that credit card off, the amount you have is lower than what the credit card is asking for, but you have an agreement with the credit card company, and instead of you paying 1,000, you have 700 and they accept it. That's usually how it goes with certain things like that. But when it comes to student loans, there's no help and there is no forgiveness at all. Trust me, I have tried everything in the book to put my student loan down, and whether it was me not making enough money, trying to get help like that, you know, I did so many things to try to lower the student loan, and there's no such thing as it, and the best way to do it is just pay it. So with that out of the way comes the payments. Now, how payments work for student loans is you have the payment and then you have the interest rate. The interest kills you, literally. It's just horrible. The interest sometimes is more than what you're paying for the payments. I feel like they do that on purpose, and there's nothing you can do about it. There's nothing you can do to lower your interest rate. I've also tried that. Even back then, my credit score was horrible and my interest rate was the same how it was back then to now, and my credit score is perfect now. So the interest rate for my student loan is at the same. There's no hit or miss when it comes to the interest rate. With student loans, you just have to pay it regardless. Now, you're probably wondering, Kira, I get it. You know, student loans are non-forgivable. How much should I be paying for my student loan? So the best amount to pay for your student loan is to pay above the asking price, what they're basically telling you to pay. If they are telling you to pay $100 a month, you're gonna wanna do 110 or you're gonna wanna do 120. If you can do more than that, then do more. The amount they're asking, which is the minimum, is something you don't wanna pay. You wanna always go above that. Like I said, back then, I was silly. I called to see what was the most minimum payment that I can do. And the girl at the loan place, she was actually one of the managers there. She said that I could put my loan down to $10 a month. And I said, that's great, $10 a month. I really was being kind of selfish with my money. I had enough to pay more, but I wanted all my money to myself. I wasn't thinking ahead. I wasn't thinking of the future of what this student loan could actually do to me. So of course I paid the $10 a month that she told me I could. $10 a month did nothing for my loan, did nothing for the interest. It actually made my school loan go higher. So I went from having a student loan from 12 grand. By the time with 2 years of me paying $10 a month, it boosted up to 15 grand. And I was crying. I was like, oh my God, what did I do? This is horrible. And of course I had no guidance. I had nobody telling me, you know, how to pay things, how to do this. I learned on my own. I learned from all my mistakes. I do not regret it because I have something to teach someone else now. The best amount to pay is above the minimum. So with me paying $10 back then, I would boost it up to 50 and then 100. Every little bit counts to pay more. There was a time where, you know, since I was paying the minimum, every year they were asking, every new year they were asking for my papers for my job, because I was considered like in the low budget range. So they always would ask for my income for me to get approved to keep paying that minimum, that $10 minimum. I feel like that was kind of a trap. So any minimum payment for a student loan is a trap. If you cannot pay above, maybe try to pay even $1 above. That will even make a difference as well. So those were my mistakes. My mistakes were just paying very, very low, and then I would pay, then once when I found out that I was paying low, I decided to pay $10 above that. So we do 50. Then it was getting better once when I came up to 50 to 100. And just keep gradually adding the price each month in order to get this off my back. So the things that I have been doing differently now, and the things that have been working for me, number one, any money that I make, any extra money that I make, whether it is staying overtime at my job, and also YouTube money. Now, I do not make a lot of money on YouTube, you guys. It's like 200, 300 bucks. I'm super grateful for that. I put it towards my student loan. I don't want to be in debt for the rest of my life. The thing with student loans is there was a time I wasn't paying it, and they were actually threatening to take my taxes and take some of my paycheck. So I just didn't want to mess with that. I'd rather pay it. It was a mistake that I made, and I should pay for it. So I don't think it's anybody else's mess to clean it up. So any kind of extra money that I get as of right now, I throw it right to my student loan. Not all of it. Obviously, I do have a savings account where money is kept there in case something happens, like the car, or say if I can't pay rent. I always have a backup account. You never know what's gonna happen in life. Another thing that has been working for me is I never ever get a late payment. You never want a late payment because they charge you. I don't know about every loan in the entire world, but I know the loan that I have, they charge you a good $34 if you're late every day. So they don't charge you $34 that month that you were late. They start charging $34 that day you were late, the next day you were late. After the day you're supposed to pay, they'll charge you $34 every time. Definitely, try to stay away from them late payments, not just with school loans, but with credit cards and stuff, because that's just your money going down the drain. It's going to waste. And another thing that has been working for me is actually boosting up my payments, like I said before. So I had written it down. I was paying $10 a month, and then now I'm paying $200 a month, and it has been helping out tremendously. So I went from $15,000 in debt with student loans to $8,700. I still got a long way to go, you guys. I'm not done, but I'm definitely not where I was before, and it feels awesome. Some people will be like, oh, you only owe $8,700. I owe $100,000. And I get it, but I went to a trade school where it was less, but I was silly to quit, and that's a whole other story on why I quit and stuff. But for me to pay this loan off is a big deal, because this is the first time with me ever being in debt, and I just don't want to have that weight on my shoulders anymore. So the best thing for me is I am paying the $200 a month. And also, another thing that I have been doing, if there is holiday pay, which I work every holiday at my job, whether it's Christmas, Thanksgiving, Memorial Day, 4th of July, I work every holiday because it's holiday pay. That extra money I make, I subtract that in my check. Whatever extra money, whether it's an extra $200 to $100, I throw it again that same month into my student loan. For instance, last month was a holiday, which was Memorial, so I am getting paid extra, so I end up putting that money towards my student loan. That's the best thing you can do. Any little extra money you have, throw it there, because you don't have to think of it anymore. Like, you don't have to think like, oh my god, the interest, you're paying your loan, but the interest rate is actually taking that money back that you're paying. It's horrible. So with this month, I did pay $400 to the student loan, which felt great. My interest that they charged me was only $10. I kept up with the payments, so there wasn't much calculated when it came to the interest. Now, I'm gonna let you guys know what you can do in order to try to pay off your student loan as fast as possible and not make the same mistakes I made. Number one, get a second job. Either get a second job or pick up hours from your main job. It's the best thing for you. Whatever extra money you make, put it towards your student loan. Even if you do owe $100,000 or more than that, what my boyfriend is doing, which is so smart, he has his master's degree in business psychology. He's been going to college for a very long time, and I'm so proud of him. He is in debt, a good $100,000, and with him being in debt like that, I always wondered, like, why aren't you worried? Like, I'm worried about the $8,700 that I owe, and he's kind of more like, no, I got a plan. And that was years ago. He told me that he had a plan. So finally this year, he told me his big plan. I never really asked him back then, but his big plan was to invest in property in order to pay the student loan, which is brilliant. I wish I would have thought of this, which I'm very proud, and I think that is another little trick. If you guys owe $100,000 or $200,000 in student loans, maybe invest in property, maybe that would work for you. If you do not mind becoming a landlord, you know, obviously you do have to buy a house and stuff, and that some people think that's another debt, but technically your tenants are paying your mortgage. And I get it, there's a water bill and stuff, but it all works out in the end, and your student loan gets paid and your mortgage gets paid and your credit goes up big time. Another thing that you can do, you guys, when you have that extra money, make as much payments as possible. Make 2 payments a month. I feel like majority of us get paid bi-weekly, so pay your student loan every other Friday, like whether it's $200 this Friday, $200, you know, 2 weeks from now. It helps out a lot, and you know, it definitely kicks that interest rate right in the butt because it doesn't have time to add up. And another thing I want to definitely remind you guys of is to always pay on time. Try your best to never ever have a late payment when it comes to student loans, because say you have been paying your student loan on time throughout the whole year and you've been paying extra, and then you get that 1 month that you're late. You don't know probably what they charge or what they're doing to your student loan. You went from $10,000, you're almost down to a single number, and then you were late, and then your 10,000 went up to 10,200 or 300 because you had a late fee. And them late fees will get you no matter what, especially on student loans and credit cards. I always felt destroyed when I seen a late fee. And the next thing that you guys should do is to find out if your student loan has an app. Mine has an app, and they have an awesome app where I can actually keep track of how much they're charging me for interest, keep track of what I paid and what went to interest and what went to my payments. I love that app. Back in the day, they didn't have that, and I used to pay by mail. I used to write a check, pay by mail. Now that most businesses have apps, it's just so much easier, and I pay through the app as well. So it's super easy, and I feel like it's more convenient on, you know what you're paying. So say you pay 200, 180 went to the loan, 20 went to interest. You know exactly where your money is going, and there's not a dime missing from it. Again, you guys, I'm not done paying my student loan, but these are the things that have been working. If I was to do this method 6 years ago, because that's when I got the loan, I would not have this loan anymore. But of course, you live and you learn from your mistakes, and at the end of the day, who wants to be in debt for the rest of their life? I know I don't. So yeah, this video was highly requested from a couple of you guys in my little Instagram inbox on how I am doing with my student loan and stuff, because you guys know that's my biggest goal. And down below, say how much you owe for your student loan so no one feels left out. Say how much you owed and say how much you've been paying, so you know, maybe it will give someone else encouragement to start paying their student loans. And whatever tips you guys have, also throw them down there to help someone else out, because I'm not a professional. This is just what worked for me, and maybe it will work for someone else one day. Anyways, you guys, I'll leave you on that note, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye.